Alright, for today's lesson, we're going to focus on following the order of operations. So here are the types of operations you'll see in this class, and probably that you've seen before in other classes. First we all have multiplication. So there's an example, 3 times 5 is 15. The special name for multiplication is called a product. So if you're ever asked to find a product, that's multiplication. Just highlight there. Okay, the next one is division. So that's when you're dividing. 14 divided by 2 is 7. The special name for that one is called a quotient. That's when you need to find the answer for a division problem. Also, division will be represented with fractions. So anytime you have a fraction bar, that means you're going to divide. 14 divided by 2 is 7. Subtraction, the word for subtraction is difference. Addition, the word for addition is the sum. Ones that we'll focus on probably more so in this course you might not have seen before are exponents. So in this problem, the 3 is the exponent, and it means you're raising a number to a power. So the power here is 2 to the third, and the answer is 8. So how many times are you multiplying 2 by itself to get 8, which is 2 times 2 times 2. I'll write that over here on the side. And then the last one, and the one you'll see a lot more of in this course, is the radical symbol. And the radical symbol is that number that goes over a number like this, the square root of 25. We also call it the square root. And what you're doing is you're asking yourself what number multiplied by itself gives you that answer underneath the radical, which in this case happens to be 5. So we have spent the first week or so of school talking about what these different numbers are, in terms of, are they real, are they rational, are they integers, are some of them irrational. So now we're going to look at how we use operations with all the different numbers we've learned about. For the order of operations, we're also going to work on using grouping symbols. So we use grouping symbols to create quantities, suggesting that what's inside is one value. So here are some common grouping symbols. I'm sure we've all seen parentheses, which are used quite frequently in math problems. Sometimes you'll see brackets. Maybe once in a very rare time you'll see braces. You're now going to start to see radicals a lot more, and then you're also going to start to see fractions with a division bar. So you're going to have a numerator and a denominator. And the important thing to realize with a fraction is that the fraction divides something up into 3 groups. You have the numerator, the denominator, and the fraction itself. So you might have an operation in the numerator and you might have an operation in the denominator that you're going to have to solve. So you're going to see some problems like that today. Just remember the order of operations. I think the way that most people learn is with PEMDAS. And I think it's important to stress that the M and the D and the A and the S go from left to right, that multiplication does not take precedence over division. It's whatever comes first from left to right. Same thing with addition and subtraction. Addition doesn't always come first, it's whatever comes left to right. It could be subtraction, then addition, if there are those 2 operations left to solve. So the order of operations, you evaluate within all grouping symbols, one at a time if there are any. So that means you take care of all the parentheses for P. Apply any exponents, E. Apply, multiply, and division reading from left to right. So that's what I was saying about that part. And then apply addition and subtraction reading from left to right. Same idea. So let's look at some examples. And while most of these problems you can put straight in your calculator, I'm going to make you work a little bit harder for these examples. You're going to identify the order of operations to follow, and then you can evaluate using the order of operations. If I just type this number right into my calculator, it tells me what to do, and it tells me the answer. But I want to make sure you're understanding what's actually happening on your calculator. So in this problem, I see an addition sign and I see a division sign. Following my orders of operations, I go through them. So I'm going to write it out over here, PEMDAS. I look for any parentheses, there are none. I look for any exponents, I don't see any. Now I look for multiplying and dividing, and I happen to see a division here. So the first thing I have to do is divide. Once I take care of the division, the only thing that's left over is addition. So that's the second thing I do. So in this problem, I'm going to divide. 12 divided by 3 is 4, so I'm going to rewrite it. And then 6 plus 4 is 10. If you enter that into your calculators, you will get 10 right away. But I want to make sure you're understanding what operations are happening. Okay, so let's put that one on the calculator so you can see exactly what your calculator is doing. 6 plus 12 divided by 3. Don't be alarmed that that division sign is changed. That still means division there. Calculator is following the order of operations as I entered it. So we got 10. So that's how I can check on my calculator. Next problem, same idea, follow using the order of operations. Start off with anything that has parentheses. So in this case, I do see a parentheses. I have to take care of what's inside of them. So inside the parentheses is 6 plus 12. So for this one, the first thing I have to do is the parentheses. I see an exponent. So after I take care of these parentheses, I have to take care of the exponent. And then finally, once I take care of what's going on in the parentheses, then the exponent, then I'm left with that division, and I'll finish the problem. So 6 plus 12 is 18, divided by 3 squared is 9, and now I can solve that to get 2. Again, you can put this on your calculator, exactly as you see it with the parentheses, and you get 2. Last one, this time it's got a radical. So the radical actually counts as like a parentheses because it's grouping all these things together. So I've got to take care of what's inside of these and then do the square root of them. So once I look on the inside of this, I'm going to follow the order of operations again. Multiplication takes the precedent. So in this case, you're going to multiply, then add, and then finally what's going to be left over is that square root sign, so you have to square root. So it seems a little odd that the square root is coming last, but the way it works is that you take care of everything on the inside and then you do whatever's on the outside of it. So there's a lot going on the inside here. So 6 times 2 is 12. 24 plus 12 is 36, so the square root of 36 is 6. On your calculators, second x squared, 24 plus 6 times 2, close the parentheses. Oops, actually I don't have to even close the parentheses. Look at how it matches up. Remember the dot and that symbol are the same for multiplication, and you get the same answer. So why does this matter? What happens when you don't follow the order of operations? We use the order of operations for consistency between problems. If you don't follow the order of operations, lots of incorrect answers can be calculated. So you're going to try the following problems on the next page. Be careful with the fractions. When you're working with fractions, make sure you take care of everything on the top, then take care of everything on the bottom, and then simplify. The other problems I think you'll be able to do with no problem. Make sure you're listing your operations like we did in the notes, because I want to make sure you're understanding what's actually happening to arrive at the answer that you get. Alright, good luck.